For the love of humanity and because you and I are intimately connected, this is the Union of Muscle Podcast Daily, the daily podcast to help inspire and inform you. Inspire you to be what? To be strong, to be prosperous, and to be beautiful. I want to talk to you guys about your fitness goals and about why you may not be getting there. Or maybe it's just that you're not getting there as quick as you'd like. And I want to ask you, where are you? Where am I? Where are we in getting to our fitness goals? Most of the time, people think that this decision to become more fit, to change our life, to eat healthier, to work out at the gym more is a linear decision. That means that there's a start point where you're at right now, and then there's an end point where you want to be. And that there's a line that helps meet the 2 points, and that by traveling across this line, you'll get to the other side. Now, that's true if you want to go through a lot of pain. I want you to imagine this. So we're going to take this line still, where you're at one end and your goal's at the other end, and I'm going to put in the middle, the midpoint there. I'm going to call that the point of extreme pain. The most amount of pain is right there in the middle. And as we go away from the middle, the pain gets less and less until you're at the point of maximum joy. Okay, so where you are right now, you're pretty happy where you are right now. You're pretty content, or else you wouldn't be there. You'd be somewhere else, hypothetically. Okay, let's just say that. Or you could be over here on the other end, where maybe that is a little bit more pleasure. Maybe that's even a better place to be. But with this linear decision that you're making, or if you decide that this is a linear path you must take, you have to pass through an absurd amount of pain to then once again become happy to where you were now and maybe a little bit happier down the road. And I ask you, is there another way? Some might say no. No pain, no gain. Maybe we could just have, what if we had a little bit of pain and a little bit of gain? What if we called this, instead of pain, a slight discomfort? So maybe on our linear path, we have the maximum amount of pain possible, but then as we get towards a slight change where we're starting to make a change, we get some discomfort. We get some slight discomfort. Now, what if somehow we could just bend? We could take that linear path and bend it and link it together. It's going to be hard to link it at those happiness points because we do have to make some change. Right, but let's say we link that. We link that at the uncomfortable place to where we go from where we are now to a bit of discomfort, travel through a little bit discomfort to get to a slightly happier space. Now, of course, when we bend that up, the real position where we started is far away. Where we actually want to go is now further away than where our new goal is. So what we're doing is we're actually picking a goal that is actually only slightly away from where we are right now on the happiness curve, right? So instead of this being a line, let's start thinking this as a sphere. Instead of making a goal that's on the opposite side of the sphere, I'm obese right now, I'm unhealthy right now, and I want to be skinny and thin and healthy. I'm going to go from point A to point B, and I want to be there tomorrow. I have to travel through a lot of pain. Instead of making that our goal, let's make a goal that's maybe right next to where we are right now. So if you're overweight and you're trying to lose some weight, don't try to lose 100 pounds by tomorrow. Maybe, why don't you try to lose 1 pound by the end of a week, or a pound by the end of 2 weeks? Now, you might have to go through a little bit of discomfort, but it's nowhere near the amount of discomfort you're going to have to go through if you try to go to that other point right away. So let's say that for this week, and you're going to say drink half as much soda pop as you will water. So what you can do is just start watering down your soda pop just a little bit, or your juice, or whatever sugary beverage you're consuming. You're just going to water it down a little bit. Now, it might not be as sweet, it might not be as palatable, but it's a small change. It's slight discomfort, nothing you can't handle. But through that, you're going to start making these incremental changes, these smaller changes. And while it might take you a longer period of time, you're going to be happier doing it. Because what actually happens when most people pick a goal that's the total opposite of where they are right now? What happens is you quit. it gets so uncomfortable for you that you quit, and you're going to end up traveling back in a trajectory closer to where you started. And you're probably going to end up about the same place you would be if you were doing incremental changes, but had you started doing incremental changes, you would have been further along. Because that bounce back doesn't take you to exactly where that incremental change was. It takes you slightly further back on that line. And maybe it might even take you even further back to a place where you're starting even further away from your goal. So that bounce back from the pain of trying to go from a place that's total opposite of you will be a lot harder to deal with than if you slowly make incremental changes, because there's really not much of a bounce back. You're going through from discomfort to discomfort and not from pain to pain. This can be applied in more than one area of your life if you haven't caught on to that already. But why am I sharing this with you? Because I want you to be inspired. Inspired to be what? To be strong, to be prosperous, and to be beautiful. I believe that you can be my fitness hero. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Union of Muscle podcast. Remember that all the views presented here may or may not be those of Union of Muscle, Black Hat Management, or our affiliates, and that any information you hear here must first be reviewed by the corresponding professional, whether that's medical, legal, or financial, before applying it to your life. All rights are reserved by the content's creators.